In this video, we will know about the main simple primitive data types of Java. There are 4 such data types. These are integers, floating point type, characters and booleans. Integers are made to store whole valued signed numbers like 1, 2, 3, 100 like this. Floating point type is meant to store numbers with fractional precision. Characters are made to store symbols in character set like letters or numbers, and booleans can store only true or false values. So first we start with integers. We can store integer variables in these 4 types. So we can declare the variables by byte or short or int or long. Byte is the shortest of all of these integer data types. So width of byte is 8 bit and it can store the values from -128 to +127. So it can store negative positive values. Short is bigger than byte values. So width of this is 16 bit and it can store values from -32,768 to +32,767. Int is bigger than short and its width is 32 bit and it can store from minus this value to this value. And long is bigger than int also. Its width is 64 bit and it can store more longer values. Now floating point type. So we can declare the floating point data types with float or double. Float is 32 bit width. It can store the values from this to that. So it can store the values like 1.2, 2.3, etc. And also double can store these values and it can store more values than float. Its width is 64 bit. So we can declare the character variables with the data type char. So its width is 16 bit and can store the numbers from 0 to 65,536 and it can store the Unicode characters. It can store ampersand, special characters like ampersand, @ etc. It can store ABCD. And booleans are made to store only true or false values. So these are the primitive main data types, simple. So today is up to this. Thank you.